February. Do you say it February? February.
I say February.
I say February sometimes.
You do?
Sometimes I do.
Is that how you grew up?
Well, not always.
Who says that?
Well, greetings, Jen.
Do your parents say February?
No, they don't.
Then why do you say it?
Just to be a problem.
Do you say library? Yes, of course, that's how you say it.
I say library, yeah.
What are you going to say, library?
Nobody says library. I mean, people do. But there's nobody saying, oh, you should say library. I'm just going to get it's like we're on a boat now. That's nice. All right.
Yes. Yes.
Great idea, showing in person, Cristela. Yes, Scott, I've invited someone in. She was a little bit reticent to come in, but I was able to reassure her, look, I feel great.
That's what he says.
Yeah.
He keeps saying how careful he's been.
Movie theaters reopened in Illinois, and Andrew went to the movies. What do you think about that?
They reopened, Andrew. Are they different from the before times? What are they doing different? Why do you feel safe to go?
Do you feel safe? Would you go to the movies? Why would you go to the movies?
I used to go to the movies. Be a workout, actually. I had an A-list membership to the AMC, and I would walk from an A-list. It's like their frequent visitor pass. I want to say it's like $20 a month, and you could see 3 movies a week. So I would actually walk from my... I know, right?
You're killing them.
Yeah. So I would walk from my apartment to the closest AMC, which was about 3 miles away. I would watch a movie in the morning, and then go back, and it was like a workout, 6-mile walk.
Kevin is saying you're in my bubble, and I guess you are now.
She's in your bubble. I am technically in your bubble, kind of.
Dave's bought AMC stock. He didn't get the memo. No, it's GameSpot.
No,
GameStop.
AMC. Hey man, stonks all the way, stonks.
What about this word? Nuclear or nuclear?
Who says nuclear?
George W. Bush. Every chance he got.
Oh, yeah, but that's not a real person. You don't say it like that.
Dave Little in the house.
Dave.
What about that shit? What about
Dave?
What about this? Here. What the fuck would Jesus do, Dave? I've got his little wristband right here.
Dave, how are you? Steve told me about what happened to you. Hello, how are you? I hope you're awesome.
What happened to Dave?
Dave had a stroke, and he actually recovered really well.
Dave, you had a stroke. Why didn't you?
He was too busy having a stroke.
You had a stroke.
He was too busy having a stroke.
Jesus, Dave. Well, welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome back, Dave.
Yes.
And just in honor of you, happy Monday, Butterdick. He loves it when we say Butterdick on the show.
Loves it, adores it. See, movie theater just closed here in Texas. I want to sweep theater for my daughter and her friends. Oh, what movie did you get to see though? That's the question. Wow. If you want a theater space, what movie was it?
Cindy went to the same high school as me, not the same years, but she's going to the movies tomorrow with her sister. Hasn't been to the movies in a year.
Ooh, Cindy. That? So this is a serious question. If you haven't been to a movie in a year, were you picky about the movie you were going to go see because it's the first one in a year? Or were you just happy to see anything at this point because it's a theater? What would you do?
I've decided, this is where I was with movies before the pandemic, is like I'm only going to see movies in the theater if they're big, giant, blockbuster things in the theater that are loud and spectacular, where I'm getting the benefit of the theater, because there's too many other people in the theater, and this is pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
There's too many people in the theater doing shit that I don't like.
Yes.
And now there's going to be even more of that because there's all the unmasking or...
Yeah, because you don't trust people. I don't trust people. Like, I'm not saying that you don't, but I don't trust people. So if theaters opened and I said, "Hey Jake, let's go see a movie," would you wait for like the right movie, or would you be excited that I invited you?
I'm not going to the movies right now.
So you would say no to me?
Not after you've been here in my COVID central exposure, vault.
We're dying together. You, me, Belinda, Lady Jerry.
I like my chances, but yeah, we may be dying together. Keith saw the Denzel Washington movie. Have you seen it yet? The Little Things?
No. My friend Steve just told me about it. I'm a big fan of the 90s, like crime movies, everything, very like Kiss the Girls, so he suggests, he's like, if you like those movies, you should see this movie. What the motion tells me?
You should definitely watch it, and I don't want to put you off it. Denzel Washington is so good, and
He's amazing in everything.
there's a great scene where he and the woman who plays his ex-wife have this scene where if you want to understand what acting is, and you watch this scene, because the things that they're saying, the words that they're saying are not what they're actually talking about. It's the subtext of what's going on. It's so good. He's so good. The acting in it is really terrific. The plot, as Keys is saying, I had some real problems with it. But
you know what's funny is that I like the way you described it. I knew it was problematic. I knew you weren't a fan when you're like, man,
no,
that one thing. Well, you're kind of like, hey, that scene where he brushes his teeth, that toothbrush. I was like, whoa, that's a toothbrush.
If I'm talking about during the pandemic, a thing to watch on HBO Max, the Denzel Washington movie, Little Things, with Remy. I'm saying it's a 8 out of 10. You should watch it, definitely.
All right, so are you grading a pandemic scale?
We all are giving our opinions based on our own personal experience in our lives to this point, and so yes, I am. It is a pandemic scale.
I got it.
But it's Motivational Monday, and so I wanted to talk about that a little bit. People are also, there's some more opinions about movies here. Bruce went to see Groundhog Day on Saturday. Solid pandemic movie. If you haven't watched Palm Springs on Hulu, that is a great companion piece to Groundhog Day, and it's a modern take on a kind of a similar concept, but it's not a ripoff. That's great. So Motivational Monday, because I did want to still stick to the topic, because I did bother.
I'm just here along for the ride. I'm sorry. You go.
Dave is saying, have you seen In and of Itself? Have you seen that? I haven't seen that.
In and of itself, no, I guess not.
No, me neither. Dave, that may be a fantasy that you've had in your. So we all have to Google that. So the Motivational Monday topic, or today, the thing I was going to talk about before I was so lucky to book a guest.
You sound like you don't mean it. Like you sound like you.
Are you kidding me?
You sound like you don't mean it.
I would put my hand on you right now, but I don't want to expose you further.
No.
No, I'm really so happy that you're here. But I was going to talk about the prison saying about do the time, don't let the time do you, which I mentioned to you that's what I was going to talk about today. We've all got this sentence, this COVID sentence, which is, let's face it, it's a minimum security prison. It's like a house arrest, really. You got to wear the bracelet, but then even you're allowed to leave the house, even though you've got the bracelet on. So it's not really a prison sentence at all by any means, and I've never been to prison, and so I had heard this expression, do the time, don't let the time do you, and I Googled it to find out more about, because it is a thing that people in jail say that, and I
love that you had to Google it, like you're like, I want to make sure that I understand it correctly.
I have to Google everything. Look, I think I know what muskrats are, but I need to Google muskrats to
what about their love, right? Intense. Muskrat love.
I know. That's a better song than you think.
It is a great song.
It's a better song than you think you're acting like you think.
No, I really meant it.
Okay. We're going to get back to do the time, don't let the time do you, but first a quick question.
Yes.
Muskrat Love or the Pina Colada song?
Oh, Muskrat Love. I'm sorry, Pina Colada has been outdated. Also, I have a running gag with my sister where every time, since I was like about 8 years old, I play the backup singer of that song, and every time that we get to the chorus, I'm like, do you like Pina Colada? And then like halfway through, I realize that he's cheating on her.
Cheating on each other, but
that's that moment where they're like, "Oh man, JK, we were
busted.
Kidding." Hey, it's so weird how we were.
Are we gonna do this or not?
Yeah, no. So cheap.
I am very happy that you had such a strong response to the Muskrat Love versus Pina Coladas.
I'm sorry, but you picked one that really spoke to my soul.
What's the name that the movie Jake gave 8 out of 10 to? It's called The Little Things, and it's on HBO Max.
Jen, do you want to know the title of 8? I don't even know 8 of what, but he gave it 8 of 10.
Dave says you're too pretty for prison, and I like to think he's
talking
talking to
you.
me.
He's talking to you. He's known me too long. I know he's not talking to me.
Yeah. Brad is saying Naked Mole Rat love, but that was 2 weeks ago, Naked Mole Rat. So you have to go back and refresh that. So when I was talking about do the time, don't let the time do you, you and I both intuitively landed on the same interpretation of that is make use of this time. Don't just let it roll over you.
Sure. Well, the idea is that the time exists whether you do it or not. Right? It doesn't, whether you accept it or not, the time is going to exist. The sentence in theory is going to happen. So how you use that time that's the important part. And we were actually talking about, like I said, that you can be proactive, but also maintaining yourself on the level that, that you remain the same pretty much throughout the whole time. That's as important as well to certain people. So you can't really expect yourself to have these outlandish, expectations because you might not meet them, and that's okay if you don't meet them. Are you trying your best? Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's good for you. Try your best.
I'm with you there. I'm kind of counter to this whole idea of optimizing all your time and maximizing.
No.
But I would say you want to use your time. If you're going to have a day where you don't do anything, fucking enjoy it. Excuse me, Belinda's not here, so I'm cursing. But enjoy your day. Take a day off and just do whatever you want and really enjoy it. So yeah, that was my original interpretation of do the time, don't let the time do you, which is make use of your time, whatever that means to you, whether it's working out or writing a book, as I was saying to you that I wanted to do, or just relaxing for a day.
You know what I did during the break? What I'm learning right now? I know how to play harmonica.
For reals?
I do. I know how to play harmonica, and I'm learning how to play Stevie Wonder's solo in Elton John's, I guess that's why they call it the blues.
Why didn't you bring your you didn't know you were going to be on TV today?
No.
You would have brought your harmonica.
It's not Sweet Weeks.
But next time...
It's not Sweet Weeks.
Teaser. Next time we have a burger and you do the show, you got to bring the harmonica.
I have harmonicas. I have a bunch of harmonicas. I've been playing since I was 18.
What's your favorite harmonica? What's the key that you like?
Oh,
do you
key
like
of C.
The C?
The C is always the basic one because with the key of C you can cover more territory.
Everything's natural.
Yeah.
Just be natural, which is a different.
C.
Be natural. Yeah. So Ed is saying that in and of itself on Hulu is supposed to be fantastic. Highly recommended by Judd Apatow. And as a matter of fact, last night, Lady Jerry and I watched Judd Apatow's movie, The King of Staten Island.
Oh yeah, how is it?
It's all right. It's a bit.
I heard Bill Burr was very Bill Burr and good in it.
No, Bill Burr is very good, and Pete Davidson is very good.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei is so great.
Buscemi? Is it Buscemi?
Yeah, Steve Buscemi's in it. There's another guy from The Wire who's in it who took a lot of really good actors took smaller roles in this thing, and I have to say I did enjoy The King of Staten Island.
It was good.
Yeah. But
Jake, you need one of Cristela's Lego creations in your office. He does. So I build Lego sets, like very intricate Lego sets, and
I know I've seen them on your Instagram.
Todd appreciates it. Thank you, Todd.
Joan says no harmonica in my storage room. Well, let me tell you something, Joan. There is a harmonica in here, and probably there's more than one. But I don't know right where it is right now. And also, to offer your harmonica to someone else during the pandemic is a bit of a...
I know.
It's a bit of an out of bounds.
I'm already weirded out by being so close to him.
Yeah. The very nearness of you. So anyway, when I looked further into do your time, don't let your time do you, you thought that was over. It's not.
No, we always call it back. That's the theme.
In prison... The idea of letting your time do you, they talk about people who become institutionalized in terms of they get so accustomed and acclimated to being in prison that they're waiting at their cell door for it to open for them to go to lunch, and they're waiting at their cell door for them to be allowed to go to walk around the yard, and they just let the prison schedule dictate what they're going to do, and they respond like Pavlov's dog they just march in a zombie-like fashion through each day, and I feel like that was very informative to me in terms of motivational during the pandemic. It is a little bit of a challenge not to let yourself get into autopilot, because some days I wake up and I think, okay, look, I just got to wake up, I got to go jump in the ocean, I got to do the daily briefing, and I got to eat dinner, and
that's a day, actually, just so you know.
That is a day.
That's a full day.
But I'm trying to challenge myself to add some little bit of extra thing to that.
Okay.
Like a burger with you.
Yes. So
I mean, this to me is a smash home run, and the fact that Dave Little is here post-stroke.
I mean,
Jesus.
I know. I mean, he just showed up like, I mean, he's making the most out of his time.
Dave, usually we say where the marriage is at, Belinda and I. Dave is saying our marriage is at 8.9.
I don't even know if that's good or bad. Yes.
It's out of 10.
Well, I know it's out of 10, but what do you guys usually rate?
No, 8.9 is solid. Anything over 8 is good. 98.6. 98.4.
I'm hotter than you.
Don't you wish your co-host was hot like her?
Dave Little says Jake should learn how to roller skate.
I have a brand new pair of roller skates. I don't. I have a pair of roller blades. When I bought the roller blades years ago,
in the 90s.
Yes, I wanted to get roller skates, but of course they were so out of fashion, and now I wish that I had, because roller skates are so much more fun and intuitive to stop. And you've got a pair of black roller skates with rainbows on them.
I have a really cool pair. They're a Moxie brand. This is not a sponsored ad. They're called the Rainbow Riders, and I love them. And also, I'm roller skating now, which means that I have started collecting a roller skating wardrobe. Which means that's a lot of brightly colored velvet flare pants.
So velvet flare pants on the bottom.
Yes.
And you can wear pants that are a little too long for regular shoes.
Yes, the flare, flare.
Yeah.
Also, for summer, I have a lot of 70s rompers, halter tops in a pink, a green. I'm very disco.
Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption says, 40 years I've been asking permission to piss. I can't squeeze a drop without say so. Shawshank Redemption. It's been a while since I've watched that.
It's a great movie. Great movie. Oh man, I love Sin Guatanejo. I remember one time I was at a gig. I was wrapping up the weekend. I was coming back home to LA, and I saw the sign for Si Guatanejo, and part of me was like, Cristela, let's just forget about this life, man. Let's just go.
Zihuatanejo?
Zihuatanejo.
Is that your choice of all of Mexico, Zihuatanejo?
Well, I mean, because of Shawshank.
Yeah.
This is what's tricky, though. So, my family's from Mexico, and...
Wait, what?
I know. I didn't want to drop it, but you know what? I'm making the most of my time. Prison saying, we're going back to... So,
yeah, you're making the most of your time.
Yeah, I'm making the most of my time. So, here's the thing that people don't understand. When people talk about Mexico, they have to understand that most of the time, they're not talking about the Mexico that I grew up in. So, they're talking about tourist spots.
There's two Mexicos.
Oh,
there's probably more than two.
Yes. There's the Mexico that game show winners go to.
Which is the kind of terrible
Cancun,
tourist Mexico.
Acapulco, whatever, not Sin Guatanejo. But there's also parts of Mexico that my family's from. Yeah. Spoken like a native. But then there's parts of Mexico where my family's from that does not look like paradise. And, no offense, because I'm saying it, but it kind of looks like you should sponsor my family. For a cup of coffee every day.
I went down to Mexico for a corporate gig one time where you land at the airport and then you get in a car to drive to the resort, which is like a compound. So you're in Mexico, but you're not in Mexico. You're in this little tourist.
They tell you to stay in the compound because you don't want to face real life.
So the whole ride, once you outside the airport through the countryside to get there. It's like you keep going by places where you can't decide, like, are they building that or tearing it down?
Yes, that's the riddle.
I can't figure out. Is it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
what about Oaxaca, or as we in America call it, Oaxaca?
I actually used to work with a guy that that used to say Chihuahua is Chihuahua, and I always remember that. Like I'm like, yes, Chihuahua. Oaxaca's fantastic. If you're someone that likes art, if you're someone that likes a lot of textiles, everything, I always recommend Oaxaca. Oaxaca's fantastic. I actually go to a place near Oaxaca called Sayulita that gets a lot of their work from indigenous tribes there, and it's very beautiful. It's very nice. I have a friend of mine, Bricia, who owns a restaurant here in LA called Guelaguetza, who makes mole.
Guelaguetza.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a insane.
Fan of Gilligan's Island.
But this is how I know you. This is how I know that Jake doesn't even eat like authentic like Mexican food. He had no idea what Guelaguetza was till right now. He's still confused.
I didn't.
Do you eat Mexican food?
Claro?
You don't eat Mexican food, do you?
Of course I do. I love Mexican food, but I don't go to... look.
I don't think we've
Mexican
ever
pla-
eaten Mexican food
No, we
together.
haven't. I used to live in the Mission District in San Francisco when that was actually a Mexican neighborhood. And so I would go out there and eat. But then those kind of burrito places have become Chipotleized. And so here, there's a place down on Main Street, just a couple doors from the place where we had burgers. But otherwise, yeah, no, I'm ready to go have Mexican food. I love the frijoles.
Hacer el tiempo. That's the motivational saying in Spanish.
What is it?
Tienes que hacer el tiempo. No tienes que hacer que el tiempo te haga a ti. I just translated it for you. So basically, you're like, do the time, don't let the time do you. You know what I mean?
Don't eat that. Eat this.
Wow.
I know. I'm exasperating you.
No, not at all.
Well, I'm going to just scroll up to Bruce. Bruce, I haven't seen you here for a while. Or he says he remembers skating every weekend. Oh God, where did he go?
Right
I went the
right
wrong
there.
way. Every Saturday morning as a kid in East Des Moines, Iowa, skating to Billy Joel. Oat Benatar? I think that's Hall & Oates, but...
Hit me with your normal shot! Hit me with your normal shot! I'm Oat Benatar.
Hall & Oates.
Notes, fun fact. I had a sitcom named after me years ago on ABC, and the Halloween costume I picked that year was Oats. I was Oats because I love Hall & Oates so much.
I had a sitcom one time where they were trying to cast Cheech Marin as the other guy in the sitcom, and I was like, we're kind of not really the same age. But he was so nice. He came out to watch me do stand up, and we met each other. I was like, okay, well, me and Cheech, sure, I'll do it.
Bruce, by the way, Billy Joel in Iowa, that was one of my favorite shows. I saw Billy Joel in Ames, Iowa years ago in the early 2000s, maybe late 1990s, and that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Dave is enjoying the show. I'm loving that he's enjoying the show. Shawshank was filmed where Dave Busser is. I'm not sure where that is, Dave, right off the top of my... Mansfield, Ohio. All right.
Ooh, that's cool.
Did you ever see Chowtown Chad's photos? He's done some great Shawshank pics. Well, no, but I think we're all Googling Chowtown Chad after the show today. Joan, I toured it a while at Incarceration Festival. Andrew says he loves the food in Mexico. Okay. Ready for the show. All right. Who isn't, Dave?
Sounds better in Espanol. Thank you, Kevin. Gracias.
I'm ready for us to get a bus and take this out into the world. Brad's been to Cancun twice. He's from Iowa, so that's where you go in Mexico if you're from Iowa, to Cancun or Ixtapa.
I always feel like you would want to end up where Sammy Hagar's at.
Oh,
Like, you know what I
I
mean?
feel like I just want to go where Sammy Hagar's at.
Like,
Is
oh,
it
you
great?
know, it's like that's where I want to go, Baja. You know what I mean? I can't drive 55, but I'll drink that tequila.
Yeah, he's got his own tequila.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Now, did he? No, was it him or which one of them went to Japan to learn how to become a samurai? I don't know if that was maybe David Lee Roth.
I don't think that was him. Yeah, I think that was Roth. If that was anybody else, yeah, totally. Cabo. See, Dave knows what's up.
I do love Cabo.
Yes.
Ed highly recommends Mexico City.
Mexico City. Yes, I love DF, Distrito Federal. My family's actually from about like 2-3 hours north of that. So when I was a kid, we would go down to Mexico. I'd go to Mexico City a lot.
Now, what is it like getting around Mexico City? Because I hear the traffic is unbelievable. It's like
yeah.
India,
So during the
forget
80s, I want to say the pollution was so bad, traffic was so bad that the government had to regulate what cars drove on what days.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd go by license plate numbers. So if your license plate ended on
in other cities, London has a weird kind of congestion in town tax. So a couple people have asked me to invite you. Well, Andrew's suggesting a taco bar at Jake Fest, and Brad is saying
Jake Fest. I want
well,
Jake
yeah. So
Fest.
next year we're going to have Jake Fest. We're going to hold it in some city somewhere, and all these people, we're all going to meet somewhere and have a kind of a weekend. We're going to do comedy shows and have barbecue.
Are you and Belinda doing a live show?
Yeah. We'll do this show. We'll have a comedy show. We'll do whatever we can do.
Ooh, I want that.
Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that he does jujitsu.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't say I did it well.
Yes, but I've never seen you even try.
So Bruce is saying he wants to make it down to San Miguel de Allende.
Miguel de Allende. San Miguel de Allende. I've been there. There's a really badass church.
How could it be?
Suspect.
Polluelos. I think it means time is independent of eggs.
Maybe it means dimples. In Mexico City, we rented a car and drove ourselves. Highly recommended. Google Maps makes it very easy to do. You can go anywhere, anytime. Fun fact, though, in Mexico, make sure you get pulled over by cops because they will see anything that's expensive and ask you to get it.
Dude, when we went to... I did a gig one time in El Paso at the Comedy Club, and then after the show we went into
Ciudad Juarez.
Ciudad Juarez, which they call Juarez, but everybody else calls Ciudad Juarez.
Well, that's the whole name. That's her name.
No, I know. Yeah. There's a whole name to it. But we get there and we park the car, and it must be 1:32 when we get there, when we're parking the car. And there's a guy dressed like a janitor who wants $2 to watch the car, and he actually shows you the nail that he's going to scratch your car with if you don't give him the $2. He goes, well, you want me to watch your car because it's a very bad neighborhood. And he shows you the nail. It could get scratched by a nail like this. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Can I watch your car from me?
Yeah. I can guarantee you 100% that I will protect your car from me. And then other people, I will also kind of step in, depending on their size and their nature.
I don't know what I have in me.
Look.
I cannot control myself for $2.
I'm 20 years older than you, and I'm awake at this time. And all I want is $2. So you decide.
I want my $2. That's from Better Off Dead.
Aren't there over 20 million people in Mexico City?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is.
Did a trip by train to San Luis Potosi.
Potosí. That's where my family's from. My family's from Zacatecas and San Luis Potosí. So, Gary, you probably bumped into a lot of my relatives.
Dave wants there to be a Jake Fest in Dallas, and maybe Dallas is where it's going to be. We don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dave, like, come on now.
Austin is also, yeah, that won't be so fun for you or me. I think it'd be more fun to do.
Come on, man. What am I going to do? Visit my family?
I was thinking Tulsa. Jake Fest, Tulsa. Okay. Flavia's leaving? Oh.
Bye, Flavia. I'm sorry.
Sorry you have to go. Well, that is a half hour. We put in our half hour. My God, thank you so much for being here today. Cristela. This was really a surprise. Do you want to pick a Seize the Day? The ones with the dots we've already done, so you can pick another one out of the Seize the Day. But thank you all for being here. Would you like to hit the fart machine? Would that be exciting for you? The fun meter, as I think you all know, is at the maximum for today. Maximum. Boom, sorry. Boom, maximum. And
we need 3 buttons to fill the fun.
For Seize the Day.
Jake, I didn't know you were so high production. You're high dollar here.
Are you kidding me? Someone sent me this. This cost me $0. Someone, Rachel, thank you. Thank you for sending that. I know sent it. I know what side my bread is buttered on. Jake Fest Peoria. A lot of people want to
Peoria. Man, you guys in your exotic locations.
Oh, have you ever played the juke joints in Peoria?
No, I was scheduled to and I had to cancel it.
Oh my God.
Do you like it?
I like it because it's insane. In the summer, you can hear the dirt track race cars. when the crowd is quiet, you can hear the ventilation system opens to the roof, and you can hear there's a dirt track across the street. And so there's people in the parking lot next to the comedy clubs sitting on the roofs of their trucks to watch the dirt track races because they're too fucking cheap to buy a ticket to the actual races. Yeah.
You're like, anyway, so what's it like to be married?
I love Peoria and the juke joint, and Dan, I would go back there. It's very fun.
No, I heard anything bad about it.
Yeah, it's a funny place, and you'll have a great time. All right, so do you have one?
Yeah, I picked one that's not marked. I just picked a random one.
Okay.
Is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, and this is a Cherokee proverb. There's no B on the end of it.
I mean, that's
Would you like to? Would you like to read the Seize the Day, or would you like me to read it to you?
Read it to me. I want you to read Cherokee proverbs to me.
Now sit right back, and you'll hear a Cherokee proverb that's been selected especially for you, by you. And also, Dave, I'm so glad that you're here among us. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice.
Wow.
Are you a fan of Spinal Tap?
Yes.
Heavy duty brings out the duty in your soul.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say, lick my love pump.
No. Heavy duty brings out the duty in your soul. I mean, oh my God, Spinal Tap. They're there for you when you need them.
And that's why I was saying Lick My Love Pump, because that's the name of their album, where he plays this beautiful sonata. Wow, that was really deep. I didn't mean to pick such a deep one, but I'm glad I did. There's
a lot of talk about how much dirt track tickets cost, and Dave is saying they're $4. They are not expensive, Dave. I don't know if they're quite that cheap, but they're not expensive. You guys have been great. Thank you, Cristela, for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
I look forward to our next meeting.
I feel like I kind of forced myself on the show, but
Are you kidding me? I never thought you would come indoors.
I know. If I die, though, it's because of you. I have done my time or lived my time or whatever.
If I die, it's because of choices that I've made in my life. Don't give up. There'll be plenty of time to give up later. In fact,